What would you do if the unthinkable happened? How could you go on in life if your child died? How could you possibly deal with the loss, the pain, the devastation? Welcome to Rosanna's Lounge, where speaking grief is no taboo. My name is Rosanne Katunge, grief and loss expert and founder of Rosanna's Lounge. It was a Thursday morning while at work as I was preparing to start the day. I heard some breaking news and I became curious to know what had happened. There was an accident along Thika Road involving a school bus and a matatu. Several were injured and rushed by Good Samaritans to various hospitals, and no casualties were reported. It hit me. My children were in that particular bus. Watcha, I panicked and tried calling the school, but the lines were jammed. So I dashed out of the office to go search for them. Wow, it was a mess. I could not trace any of my children. I frantically moved from hospital to hospital, and at about 4 hours or so later, I found my son, my 9-year-old son Andrew, at Aga Khan Hospital in critical condition and in need of surgery. But my girl was nowhere to be seen. I was beside myself now. I could not locate her anywhere. I searched in that hospital. I couldn't get her. Then I was informed that a Good Samaritan had taken a child to Kenyatta Hospital, and so I went to check. And at the reception, I was informed that the said child had succumbed to injuries, and they were trying to locate her next of kin. I was now trembling in fear as I was being taken to see her, crossing my fingers, praying, hoping she was not the one. But it was her. She was the one. I don't know how many times I screamed, but I screamed and screamed. My child, my girl, my daughter, my gorgeous, gorgeous Nicole was no more. She would never, ever come running through the front door into my arms again. My sweet 5-year-old baby girl was gone forever. I will not forget how I found her, fully dressed in her school uniform, lying peacefully on the cold slab. There were no visible injuries or blood on her. She had died from internal injuries. So I picked her up, her lifeless body, cuddled her in my arms, and told her how much I loved her and how much joy she had brought to my life, and kissed her for the last time. Then I bade her farewell. To this very day, I will never understand why the Good Samaritan thought it wise to take my daughter all the way to Kenyatta Hospital in that morning traffic, while passing so many other hospitals on that way. What I also learned was that my baby girl had kept asking for her mommy. I want my mommy before she passed on. That really broke my heart, knowing I was not there for my daughter while she desperately, desperately needed me. It still breaks my heart whenever I think about it. The day I gave birth to my baby girl, as a mother, I always envisioned walking, or is it standing? Well, seeing my baby girl in a white dress walking down the aisle. But instead now, at the end of the aisle, she was lying inside a casket, a tiny white casket. That really broke my heart. With the loss of a child, a part of you dies. A real, beautiful, living part of you dies. And you are left behind to pick up the pieces of your shattered life and not having a clue where to even begin. But 5 months later, God blessed me with a healthy baby boy, Adrian. I was incredibly happy, but again, I was fearful that the baby would be taken away from me. I remember that fear stayed with me for a very, very long time. And especially during the month of November, I would get very paranoid and wait for the angel of death to visit me yet again. Now, there's a question as a parent who has lost a child is tough to answer. The question is, how many children do you have? How many children do you have? Now, should I say 2 or should I say 3? Well, for a very long time, I would say that I was a mother of 2 sons. But now, I'm learning to say that I'm a mother of 2 sons and a daughter who's an angel in heaven. Today is 8th November 2020. On this very day, 19 years ago, my gorgeous baby girl Nicole Nyambura became an angel. So today we are celebrating her 19th anniversary since she became an angel. That's exactly 5 years after the death of her father Patrick. She would now have been 24 years, probably working, and even probably married, as I had been to her dad when I was that age. Well, I don't know and I will never know. 2001 is year I will never forget. 8th November will live with me until the day I die. I am so indebted to my husband Cliff, my family, and my friends who stood by me. The Muemas, my brother Raphael and his wife Ella, for gladly naming their firstborn daughter, Nicole Mbula, to honor my daughter. I am forever grateful. As for you, dear friend Lillian, she willingly went to Kenyatta Hospital mortuary to identify my daughter and have her transferred to Leaf Funeral Home. And she also bought her a pretty dress and made sure she dressed her up on the day of her funeral. I'm forever grateful to you and your girls. Roslyn, my dear friend, for never leaving my side throughout the ceremony. I feel so honored to have such great friends in my life. Honestly, I did not know whether I would do this video. I have cried so much while trying to record, but I am so thankful that I am able to share my story to inspire others. I remember telling Lillian that I was going ahead to make this video, and her response was, and I quote, "I'm happy, and I thank God you can now talk about it and share." My friends, It has taken me 19 years to openly talk about my daughter Nicole and acknowledge her death, and the pain is still very real. I tell you, the loss of a child is what I call the ultimate tragedy. It is the worst trauma any human being can experience. So my prayers go out to all grieving mothers and fathers around the world, grieving the loss of a child, because no parent should ever have to bury their child. Thank you once more for walking this journey with me. I will see you again next week. Remember, grief is the price we pay for love. God bless. Thank you.